Hey guys, welcome back to Long War Air 101, Episode 2. We're going to look at Scouts in April, which will be pretty similar to Scouts in March, but there's one really big difference, which is that now we care about destruction percent. In March, you could only crash UFOs which you shot down. In April, there's the possibility of destroying them. So, as you'd expect, avalanches are still more effective at fighting Scouts than Stingrays are. And avalanches actually don't destroy that badly, even though they deal much more damage per hit than Stingrays. The reason for that is that the chunks of damage that avalanches deal tend to land you right around killing the UFO on the second shot. So typically you'll kill the UFO in 2 shots without much overkill. If they don't kill in 2 shots, though, you're going to overkill by a very large amount and likely destroy the UFO. So sending 2 avalanche interceptors on aggressive is going to kill a scout about 90% of the time, and it will destroy about 43% of the UFOs that it shoots down. 43% is a pretty high number there. Stingray missiles are going to deal less damage per hit, but they actually tend to overkill by a good amount anyway, because the way that Stingray missiles deal damage in chunks, you've got 4 hits, and the kill blow is like right about there. So the 4th hit down here gets you into overkill range by a decent amount. They're not going to overkill by a massive amount like the 3rd avalanche missile does, but they overkill typically by a decent amount. And they're more commonly going to just fail outright to bring the UFO down. So 2 Stingray interceptors on aggressive will kill about 75% of the time and destroy 35-ish% of the UFOs they kill, which both of those numbers are lower. And you'd rather send 2 avalanche interceptors than 2 Stingray interceptors, but given that you probably want Stingray interceptors for raiders and fighters in April, I could believe that having everything on Stingrays was correct. Let me show you the numbers for that stuff, and then I'll show you the twist at the end of the video. So we've got avalanches here. You can see here's 0 UFO health. You can see that we're dealing damage in clusters. So here's the first missile hitting, puts the UFO at around this health. Second missile hitting puts the UFO at around this health. So you can see that often we're killing it with very little overkill right in this zone. But sometimes we don't quite kill it with 2 missiles, and then we land in this zone on the next one, which is a considerable overkill amount, about 50% of the UFO's health overkill. Sometimes you really overkill when you land it here and then crit it. That's how we got this interception where we more than double killed a scout. In the simulation, I killed 93% of the time with 2 interceptors and 100% of the time with 3 using avalanches, and we destroyed 43 to 44% of the UFOs. One thing I haven't mentioned is abort health. The scout can deal 49.5% of your damage with a max hit of your health with a max hit crit, a max damage crit. Oh my god, that was so hard to say. It can deal 49.5% of your health with a max damage crit. There we go. Which means it can deal about 25% with a max damage non-crit, which means that you probably want to be aborting at 25% health. That's what I did here. I got 0 deaths and 300 contacts on that particular sim. And then looking at Stingrays, you can see that there are 4 damage clusters, 1 hit, 2 hits, 3 hits, and here's the 4th hit, which is usually one which is sinking the UFO. This is only overkilling by about 25%, whereas the avalanche cluster was overkilling around 50%. So even though you're overkilling a good amount, you still on average destroy less often. I have us killing 76% of the time with 2 interceptors with 35% destruction, and then if we can get the 3rd one there, we're up to 97% with 36% destruction. This time I actually lost 2 interceptors. There's just some variance there. You're going to lose an interceptor like 1 or 2 times out of 100 for the scouts that you're fighting here if you don't abort until 25%, which is more than made up for by the extra times that you bring the scout down. Okay, but now the twist to the story. we don't have to only send avalanches or stingrays. It's possible for a mixed strategy to be best. And in this case, that's definitely the case. So if we start with an avalanche interceptor and we try to get one hit with the avalanche interceptor. 2 hits is fine if we sink the UFO, but if we hit twice and don't sink it, we need to abort and stop shooting. And if it crits with the first shot, we also want to abort and stop shooting. And then we send Stingray missiles to finish the UFO off. The strategy makes use of the power of both weapons. The Stingrays deal damage in small increments, and they pretty reliably do deal small increments of damage because they have higher rate of fire and the same accuracy, so they get more chances to hit. And the Avalanche deals just enough damage to put Stingrays in a good position as far as their chunks of damage where they're landing in the last shot. They're going to land in what I call the green zone, which is like an overkill of less than 10 to 20% of the UFO's health. A very large amount of the time. And then the follow-up Stingray interceptors prevent the massive overkill situation, which you were having with Avalanche interceptors, where if they killed with the 3rd missile, you were pretty reliably destroying the UFO. The overall results I got, we've already talked about Avalanche and Stingray only strategies. These are for 2 interceptors, so 93% kill, 75% kill, but both had high destruction numbers. With a hybrid strategy like this, I'm getting 90% kill with 2 interceptors and only 30% destruction rate. So that's definitely what you want to be doing out of the options that we've explored. Possible that there are other options which I haven't considered, but there aren't many, because there aren't many variables going on right now. Aggressive is definitely the correct stance. I didn't go into showing that, but it's just... The reason that aggressive is the best stance is that it deals the most damage per intercept, and the real concerning factor here is this number, not getting enough damage on the UFO in 2 intercepts to sink it. That's what you're really scared about. So here's what the hybrid strategy looks like. You can see that we've got this chunk where 1 avalanche missile hits, and then mostly what we have otherwise is this chunk here, which is often 2 avalanche missiles hitting, which is just fine. Sometimes it's green dots. Green dots are when we've hit 1 avalanche missile and then 2 stingrays. That's the main way we get here with green dots. And this zone, the fact that we have so many kills in here is just wonderful. We've got a few big overkills where we crit with an avalanche missile, I believe. Oh, actually, I don't have kill abort on for this one, so my numbers should be even better. But yeah, this is what you want to do. I'm not going to resim it. It takes a really long time to sim this in Excel. I'm writing it for a better program to sim with, but it won't be as easy for other people to use, unfortunately. Okay, so yeah, that's an April Scout. You want to send with avalanches to start, stingrays afterwards. Try to abort your interceptors at 25% HP and try not to massively destroy the UFO, and you should be fine. Send on aggressive. And I'll see you guys next time. We'll talk about raiders or something.